guys, am 3+Kei. I am here to encourage you to pursue the smile by prioritizing the Lord, your physical health, and persistent education. I'm out here in these Uber streets a little bit by accident. I dropped off one guy and meant to I didn't mean to take on like as big of an order as I just took. It's gonna be a little bit. I wanted to be home tonight, minding my own business. But here we are, and we've got 30 minutes together. We're gonna pick up some type of Asian food. Oh, Thai food. We're gonna pick up some Thai food, and then we're gonna pick up some other type of food afterward. But I wanted to address a comment I got today. Very rarely do people give me comments that I can chew on, where I'm like, oh, that's pretty solid, you know. But the comment was to a video that I penned, that I made about tattoos and facing discrimination in the church, as a person with tattoos. Hold on one second.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, while I'm waiting, I'll just talk. Hey, I'm here for Brian. Oh, terrific. Thank you. All right, we are out of here. Yeah, so the video was about, it was a church I was going to in Georgia, and I was very new to that church. I think it was like the first or second time, and you know, after the service, you're all just kind of talking, and I ended up talking to this one woman, and granted, she was a little older, but you know, she drew attention to my tattoos, and I was like, yeah, I'm probably gonna get some more. And she looked utterly disgusted. I mean, like, the look on her face was one, I don't know what you might tell somebody, you know, like, if you told somebody, like, I have an STD, and said that very casually, it was kind of like that look, or I don't know. You said maybe I said I ate soap for dessert or something. It was a look of disgust, and my response was like, oh yeah, like, I definitely never want to talk to you again. And if there's more people like you, you know, I don't want to really talk to them either. Okay, now we're going to Buffalo Wild Wings. And so that was all that. Listen to this. Y'all know about this? This is, like, drill music. Drill gospel music. So this is Hosanna. Can y'all hear this? Hold up, let's vibe for a second. first of all, before I continue this story, can you guys tell me if you can hear the music clearly? Because I would love to play this song. This video is going to get canceled out by YouTube. I mean, it already is. But let me know if you can hear, if you heard the music clearly. Because I would love for you. If you don't know, drill music out of New York is like about to drill, to go on it. For those of y'all who don't know. Genre and like dances and stuff like that kind of like go with it. And it's very like bass heavy. Very bass and like staccato. And so somebody thought, let me Christianize drill music. And it's this person, they named it Holy Drill. And it is super lit. You guys still aren't telling me if you heard it, if you were able to hear it. But I'm going to play it if you can hear it or not. But this is called Hosanna. Like, oh, Hosanna in the high. Just hear me out. Yes. All right, but drill. So listen. Hey, right? Okay, I don't know if y'all could hear that, but that's what that was. We're about to go up in the Buffalo Wild Wings. The person in front of me has a "Y'all Need Jesus" bumper sticker. So I'm gonna see if their window is open, and if it is, I'm gonna introduce myself. If it's not, I'm gonna keep walking because ain't nobody trying to roll up on people in Montana. You don't do that type of stuff. Hello. Yeah.
Busy.
I know. Oh, there's nobody in the car. I probably should have put on my blinkers. Jason says, "Hi, how's your day going?" It's all right. We out here Ubering and what have you. This place, I'll tell you, this place and Taco Bell, you'll be sitting here waiting forever. So we're gonna wait 5 minutes and then we're gonna leave. Oh, come on out.
Thank you.
Yeah. I wanted to get you guys' opinion on oh, it might be ready. Let's see. What it is? It's like Price is Right. All right. There you go. Oh, everybody. Oh, boom, boom. Thank you. Oh, man. It's busy. There's like a line in there. But I'm going to tell you one thing. I thank the Lord. And I don't mean for this to sound like tongue in cheek, but shout out to them. They left their car running. I would never, but I thank the Lord for my general temperament. You know, one thing I'm kind of interested in learning a little bit about is detachment. I was talking to Allison about this a little earlier. I care too much about all sorts of things that I could probably, do better to just mind my business about. And I want people to be better. But are they going to be? No. And am I maybe better for just kind of going about my business and minding my own business? Probably. So I want to learn more about that, the process of detachment and not caring so much. But anyway, that just made me, because everybody looked like we're waiting for dinner, but it's like you came out on a Friday night. And there's like a show in town or something. I don't know. But anyway, back to the subject at hand. Somebody commented on that video of me telling the story of the older lady at church. And there were actually 2 comments people made, because I was saying I felt shame. I felt shame that I had gotten these tattoos. And one of the comments was, well, you should feel shame for having tattoos. And it's like, that's not good messaging. That is not good messaging. But the comment that I wanted to address to that person, I was just like, I don't know what I said, but something, thank you for your comment, or whatever the case might be. But the comment that stood out to me was, now that you're on the other side, being Christ's side, now that you're a Christian, what is your stance on tattoos? Further, would you recommend to a young person, like if a young person was in front of you and they said they wanted to get a tattoo, would you recommend that to them? Right? And so I said thank you very much for that question. That's a really good question. Would I personally, if a 16-year-old was like, yeah, I'm about to get this tattoo, there's a lot to unpack. There's a lot to unpack about that. If what you're wanting me to say is don't get the tattoo because it's a sin, that's not entirely accurate. Like, it's under Levitical law. So getting a tattoo, which, by the way, under the Levitical law specifies that it's even like an engraven, and shout out, I was talking about this with Allison, an engraven image of a dead person, right? So it even specifies like what the marking on you would be, an idol, so to speak, right? And so even in that was canceled out by Christ's work on the cross. So like that's kind of one thing. To recommend a young person make a permanent I wouldn't recommend anybody under the age of 25. The brain is not fully developed until roughly around the age of 25, when your frontal lobe is fully formed. And your frontal lobe right here, so if you imagine your brain when you're a baby and like you're being developed, your brain develops like this from the back to the front. And what you have here are like your impulses and that kind of thing. Another word for it is called your reptilian brain, right? You're like, what? And then as you get older, more of your brain is formed and solidified, the last part being your frontal lobe that holds your executive functioning, which is your reasoning, your ability to see consequences down the road, right? So would I recommend a person under 25 to make any permanent decision? Maybe even not. I mean, I'm kind of even in the like, if you're committing to a person for life, like, I know that's a super hot take. That's a super hot take. I know. Having babies under 25, like, you know, choosing a career under 20, buying a house under 25. I don't know that I would really recommend anything. Like, if you're going to live your life, go ahead and live your life, right? But as far as making a recommendation to a youth about anything permanent, I would not do that. You know? And then I would also say, judgy, you know? So this, first of all, like, they're 16, this is what they're gonna do, they're saying it. I would, instead of like coming across with like, don't do it, my first question, and this was Allison's first question too when I was talking to her, it would be like, well, what is the tattoo of? What is the last, what are you getting, you know, are you doing Taylor Swift lyrics? Remember when Prince turned himself into a symbol? Are you doing like the Prince symbol? You know, me personally, I don't know if you can see it because I'm driving. My last tattoo was like a large cross on my forearm. And then I have Psalm 32a tattooed on my calf and kind of like a code. And the reason why I did it in the way that I did it was so that people would be like, what does your tattoo say? You know? And so, right, like there's two different people. One person would be like, no tattoos ever. To that, I might challenge you and say, like, let's look it up. Let's like really, let's do a deep dive into what is meant by a tattoo in both a biblical and secular definitions. Like, what is a tattoo? When was the law created? When was the law created? And were there any circumstances created, Christ on the cross, that washed away this particular law? The tattoo is in the engraven image was in the same category when people are trying to like speak against Christianity, in the same category as the mixing of cloth and this kind of thing, right? Like, you can go there, you know, and there's Christians who practice the Levitical law, I'm sure, you know, and in that case, I would be like, if you're about it, like, be, you know, for sure, like, be about it, if that's what you're, you know. But the short answer is no, I would not recommend a tattoo. As an adult, from an adult perspective, I would not recommend a young person get a tattoo. From a Christian perspective, I would also say, I mean, just be respectful of your parents, right? And your community, and also hold off until you're 18. And then what is the purpose of the tattoo that you're getting, right? Because there's many tattoos that are just like super flashy. There's glow in the dark ones. There's all sorts of tattoos you can get now. I would say, like with anything, clothing or a hairstyle or whatever, like some people are just like a little different in their presentation. And the point would be, right? What is your message when somebody says, oh my gosh, I like your style of dress, or I like your, whatever, your silly headphones, or, once the person engages with you, are you pointing them back to the Lord? And does your tattoo do that? And so one person that was on here before, they were talking about tattoos are immodest. And I would wager, when I thought about it later, I would wager that the man who said that doesn't have any tattoos, and he's probably the sort to dress in like button-down shirts and like the whole thing, right? Which is fine, but it could be a matter of your own sensibilities and preferences why you think a tattoo is immodest. Someone like me, I mean, I might argue a face tattoo is immodest, but your general run-of-the-mill sleeve or whatever. And then my final thought on that is, in the grand scheme of things, when this person with a tattoo goes to meet God, right? All the people that go to meet God, including the holier than thou sorts, is the Lord looking, is this cottonwood? Is the Lord looking for your attire and your appearance, or is the Lord looking for Jesus Christ standing by your side? Which one is it? What the heck? Sorry, I don't know where I'm at. This is why we need to stop doing Uber at night. This is exactly why, because I don't know what's going on. But yeah, does the Lord care about your heart, or does the Lord care about your appearance? And for that, I would point you to when Christ and the disciples sat down to eat, and the Pharisees were side-eyeing them, talking about, you didn't wash your hands. Well, the washing of the hands was also a Levitical law. The way they were supposed to, the way they said to wash their hands, if you know how surgeons wash their hands, like their forearms and stuff like that, that's what was the Pharisees were saying was the only godly way to wash your hands. That's the only way you can do it. And Jesus and them, they didn't do that. And so Christ was like, well, you washed your hands. I might have seen you wash your hands, but your heart, but your heart is dirty. So what matters more? A person's appearance, or what's truly in their heart, right? And then somebody certainly, is this? I don't understand these streets. don't understand. What's happening on these streets. I'm trying to figure it out. I think it's telling me, it told me to turn. Okay. Yeah, I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to just wrap this thing up. Uber will play with your time. I will tell you that much. Anyway, so that would be my response. You know, also, you guys might see me lose by.
Sam B says, leave it door. Please do not ring doorbell.
Okay.
Upsets the cat's smiley face.
I really don't care about, but like, where is your, do you know what I mean? Like, where is the house? On alley, southeast corner, bushes block the street. I'm telling y'all, they want you to get out at night between 3rd. Okay. I'm telling y'all right now, we have I'm gonna give this 3 minutes. It's 7:28. If I don't find this house in 3 minutes, I'm leaving. This is crazy. How are you about to order food to a place? Bushes. It's on the alley, southeast corner. Who knows? Do you know what I mean? Do you guys know it? Do you know what southeast means? The only reason... Okay, we have 2 minutes. And then it says leave at door. So you mean to tell me, you know what I'm saying? You order food, your address is not visible, and you want the person to leave it. So you want the person to go to an address. Just for your future warrants, just if anybody ever thought to like do this, go ahead and meet the person outside, because that's a little ridiculous. Southeast, and don't say stuff like that. On this, look at this, there's a white truck. Is this 526? No. You ever sometimes like you apologize to yourself? Cause it's like I didn't actually need this money to be aggravated. to be aggravated the way that I am right now. I didn't really actually like the cost wasn't worth it. Final Moon says, so my decision becoming a furry was a dumb decision. You know what I looked up actually? Final Moon, if you're still here, I looked up the biblical just the other day or yesterday, because I don't judge me, but I was some of us on here, me and you could never be friends, because the way my mind works is a little wild for some people. But I was looking up how to run on all fours. On all fours. Like, how do people, and so what I came across was, it's called like quad aerobics, and it's like a whole thing. And the running on fours, it's like very popular in the furry community, and they be doing that because it's furries, and they get to running, they get to running on their hands and stuff like that. And I'm like, all right, my life be like, ooh, it's like that sometimes, I guess. I can't hate on it when I'm the one looking up how to do it in the first place. How am I going to be mad at you? And so anyway, I learned that the furries do it a lot. They like it. That's kind of like their vibe, right? And then it got me thinking, like, what's the like biblical take on furries? And so maybe the difference between me and you can't just give me some information. I don't care how, like, what your status is, you're a pastor, unless it comes from like directly like the word of God. And even then you got to watch out and like cross-reference to make sure you're getting like the whole picture, right? But so what I'll do, if I have like a biblical question, I'll think about it what I think it is with the biblical knowledge that I have and what I know of the Lord. And I was like, I don't think the Lord is really with furries. I don't think that's really like a Christian activity, right? And then what I did was then I looked at different viewpoints. People like Christians for furries, which is not a thing, I just made that up, but like pro-furry Christian take, anti-furry, supported by scripture. And so basically what I came up with was, can somebody be a Christian furry? Is like, I mean, it's like, it depends on how you're using, whoops, why is this not, it's not telling me when to turn. If you're using the furry business as an idol, or kind of like transgenderism, like you really believe you're out here meant to be a furry when the Lord said you're a human with dignity, nah, bro, you gotta knock that off. You gotta squash that. But if it's something like, this is the other take. If it's something like cosplay, you know, people dress up, or, you know, I mean, dare I say we dress up to go to the office and like pretend to be serious adults. Like, what's the difference between like dressing up for fun, or if I went to a sneaker event, I would wear like my best sneakers to like indicate, you know what I mean? Like, or I have a few onesies. If I belong to a onesie club, I would show up in my onesie. You know what I mean? Like, if it's just like kind of like a fun hobby, like a thing, like a cute thing, like people dress up in all sorts of different ways. I don't know that if you are dressed up as an animal versus, you know, a doll or something, you know what I mean? I don't know. That is that different. Do you know what I mean? Poppy says, I don't think I'd ever get a tattoo. Yeah, it's not, Ben doesn't have any tattoos either. It's not a, you know what I mean? And here's kind of my thing sometimes. Like, there's a level of maybe, like I said before, like preference, like maybe you don't like something, right? Oh, it's across the street. Maybe you don't like something. Just because you don't have a taste for something doesn't mean that now all of a sudden it's a sin. Do you know? Is this the house? This has to be the house. 322. But I don't see. Oh, here it is. Oh, whoops. Oh, no. Okay, we're gonna wrap this thing up, guys. Yeah, similar to the one guy that was like, oh, I'd never, or, you know, getting a tattoo is immodest. It's like, just say you don't like it. Do you know, I also suffer from this level of being a jerk. I do it too. Oops. I would like you, if everybody could just do what I want them to do, I would be very pleased with that. Did you guys know that? If everybody played the Christian rap that I liked played, okay? If everybody, Lord knows I talk about it enough, if everybody would just behave in the way that I want them to behave, if everybody would just do everything 3+Kei with even my bass. I wish there was more bass thumping as I am down the street. I I had a friend that was like, people shouldn't play their bass. And it's like, so for your comfort, because you don't like bass and you want the quiet, people who cannot enjoy their music the way they want to, because when we're in traffic, we're fleeting. It's another thing if you like park outside somebody's house and you've got the music bumping, but in traffic, we're all fleeting. So if somebody has their bass thumping, right, in their own vehicle, and you're experiencing it for seconds, what you're saying is, that's what I was telling her, people shouldn't be able to enjoy their music the way they want to because you want quiet, right? Then the other side of that is people thumping with their bass all the time and pausing where you are, like right outside of restaurants and right into neighborhoods. That's not okay, you know? Anyway. So that's my whole thought on like tattoos. Also, I have one more thought on tattoos and Christians. There's a saying I heard really great. It was really great lately. It was, make sure your own porch is swept before you start hollering about how the neighbors are keeping their yard. And that's not to say as Christians we can't like check one another, but I think we are like extra cool sometimes, some of us, some of y'all, me too, kind of pointing out what somebody else is doing, and it's like, you know, I got a couple things going on in my own, you know, in my own background, while I'm sitting up here pointing out what other people, I for sure have a couple things going on that I could be addressing in my own life. And this is going to be a conversation, because I was really thinking about this later, how we point out other people's sins or how we perceive their sins. And we don't even have a relationship with that person. We don't know the context. So I'll save it for another night. But I met an interesting person tonight, an interesting person I picked up. And I was talking to somebody about that person, and they were like, oh, look at that sinner. And it's like, but I mean, if you're struggling with something, that's honest, right? And we don't know when people are engaging in sin. Like I'm saying, like we see it, like for instance, we see an unmarried couple having a baby, or we see a drug addict or something like that. It's like, it's easy to paint a broad stroke of they shouldn't be doing that, and I'm going to turn up my nose at them. It's another thing to build a relationship with these people and learn about their circumstances. Do you know? Like the person on crack, I'll tell you, I was watching this street preacher, and he's going back and forth with this girl who's like, F you and blah, 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 F Jesus, da, da, da. And a woman who is clearly on drugs comes up, spits the whole gospel, and is begging the crowd to repent of their sins. the drug addict. You don't know you don't know what calling somebody might have on their life. You don't know why they are wrestling with specific sins. A lot of women that deal with promiscuity and this kind of thing were victims of sexual assault at some point. That's one of the symptoms that can come of that. Do you know? Are you willing to come alongside her and bear her burden and help her get through that? Or are you cool with just being like, look at that hoe. Look at that 304. Look, modern women, when 75% of women report having some sexual aggression against them, and if you're a woman, you know it's every woman ever has had some sort of sexual, even if it's like an unwanted kiss. Are you willing to hear that and help her through it? So I say all that to say we are real quick on talking about what somebody else shouldn't be doing when we don't want to we don't want to at all develop a relationship with the person and treat them with the dignity and grace that the Lord extends to us. Further, we don't want to be vulnerable and transparent with that person. One of the best stories I ever heard, it was a woman in my women's group. I told you guys this story before. She ended up seated next to like a butch lesbian on the plane, and they got to talking or whatever. And so anyway, at some point, the girl says, "Do you think I'm going to hell for being gay?" And so we're all like, well, what did you say? And instead of being like, you're going to hell, my friend, shout out to her, she's so dope. She was like, not for this, she's just a dope person. Actually, when everybody turned their back on me, not everybody, but people turned their back on me and I had no friends, she extended a relationship to me, actually. But she was saying her response was to share her own testimony. Her response was to answer the question by sharing her own testimony, which is eternal life with God is available to all, independent of your past. We're so quick to be like, sorry, I'm about to get to where I'm going. I'm a cosplayer. I hope to go back to it one day, right? Let me see what this person is saying. Bruh, I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to go home. Ready to go home. I wanna go home. I wanna go home. Okay. All right. Drive to bump depends on the subs. Oh, problem solved. Right, problem solved. Just keep driving. If you don't like somebody's sub, right to bump depends on the subs. Well, I'll tell you. I did turn it down. I did go ahead and turn it down, but I have a crossover SUV and my sub is in my trunk and there's about 3 inches of space that my sub doesn't fill. So I do have a pretty significant thump. All the same, I'm here for seconds. As a homeowner with big subs, if my neighbor calls me, say, turn it down, cool, he knows to call me before the cops. Comes down to common courtesy. Yeah. And I pull into my neighborhood. Okay, not my neighborhood, but like probably a good within 500 feet of my house. I'll turn the music down. Many don't have common courtesy today. Who made that baby? Did not God make him in the womb? Yeah, people don't. Gotta thank God. All right, I gotta go, guys. It's late. It's 7:51. I still have to do notes. I started doing this date night with myself. And I don't know how well it's going because really all I want to do is just make some money. You know, I was like, oh, I'm gonna take a bubble bath. And it's like, bubble bath ain't paying no bills, baby. I gotta figure it out. Anyway, I am 3+Kei. I'm here to encourage you to pursue the smile by prioritizing the Lord, your physical health, and persistent education. And I live stream every day at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Tomorrow, we're going to be back at it. We're going to be making sense again. But I wanted to address the person's comment. And I really appreciate it. I wish people would, if people comment, it's either negative comments or something that's just like, cool. Like, I know you just took the time. Like, I know I just irritated you. But I personally am not going to take the time to post like a big response to you. So I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna cut it, keep it cute, and keep it short. But this was probably the first comment that was like, that was a good question. It was a good question. So shout out to that guy. I had pinned it to the, you guys can watch the video. I pinned it. Respond to that guy if you want to. Shout out to him. And hi, Ben. Talk to you guys later.